and whatnot, and to be able to, have this guy spend a whole lot of money on them. And it is difficult,
Mm-hmm.
because uh, the majority of the women this side, they in the majority. I'm sorry, the women this side are in the majority. There's far more women this side than men,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with that being said, since there's a lot of women than men,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting a lot of expectations,
What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with a very special episode here. Make sure you guys like, comment, and hit the bell. But guys, I got an email from a subscriber and a brother that was living in one of my favorite cities in the world, Johannesburg, South Africa. It's one of my cities I really love. And the brother was thinking about starting a Menosphere sector kind of channel for the South African men because he saw there's a lot of similarities that African American men are experiencing in South Africa. So I asked him to tell me what some of the issues that they were, and we got talking and everything. I asked him, well, maybe he would come on and talk about them, but I'll let him introduce himself, and we'll go from there. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Hi, everybody. My name is Katawasiso Mawela from South Africa, Johannesburg, representing the people from Soweto, Protea North. So far, I contacted O'Shea to, try and build up not build up, but grow the Menosphere this side. There's a lot of content that's out there, which I felt that it could help our brothers this side, but it needs a guiding force, a guiding hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish I could be that guiding hand, or one of the people who could be the guiding hand, because there's a lot of people out there who are trying something, yet
Mm-hmm.
the voices are rather limited.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I just want to try something, and
Mm-hmm.
build upon that.
Let me ask you, brother, because there are a lot of brothers that watch me in the Manosphere. I know you've heard of guys like Kevin Samuels. He's all over the world now. What drew you to this kind of content that African American male content creators like myself? What is it about our content that really resonates with you?
For the most part, I think that the resonation comes from the stuff you talk about. This side, we feel it, the entitlement, some of the stuff that's happening with women, or if not women, around the world, the topics you touch upon. So we feel it this side. We're like, okay, you know what? Let's see what's going on. Let's hear what Mr. O'Shea Jackson has to say, and having listened to your stuff, having watched your content, and consumed your content, I found it not only helpful but quite insightful.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I decided that, you know what, let's take it from there.
When you say, let me ask you, because obviously I've been to South Africa. I've actually dated one lady in particular from Johannesburg. But what are men expected to do? Because in our community, in Black America, we girls won't talk to you unless you have a lot of money. Okay, you need to have the nice shoes, the cars, and and she don't have to have anything, right? She don't need to do nothing but just be, nice weave, big booty, and some sandals, right? Now I know that South Africa is it's a lot of different people are there, not just you have the Boers there, you have different groups coming from all across Africa coming to South Africa, so you have a melting pot. That's what they call it, the Rainbow Nation, I believe, right? So it's a lot of people in South Africa. What is it like dating in South Africa?
Well, I won't be able to speak for the other racial groups, but as a Black man, this side, uh, the dating scene is rather, I wouldn't say difficult, but it is challenging, you know, for the fact that there's a lot of high expectations. And with these expectations, a lot of men feel a pushback, you know, because you have the economy. Let me start there,
Okay.
right? Uh, South Africa, when it comes to the poverty rate, it's high. So not a lot of men have money. You know, it's
Okay.
only a few men who are actually, hella rich.
Okay.
So now with that, a lot of women expect, to find this rich guy and whatnot, and to be able to, have this guy spend a whole lot of money on them. And it is difficult, because the majority of the women this side, they in the majority. I'm sorry, the women this side are in the majority. There's far more women this side than men, right? So with that being said, since there's a lot of women than men, we're getting a lot of expectations. There's a phrase that women this side tend to say, and it's mostly on Twitter, but then we also see it out in the street where they say "indoda must," which means a man must. And then you fill in the blanks. A man must have a car, a man must have a job, a man must. And when you look at that, most of South African men or black men, these things, they don't have those things. They do not have those things. So it adds on the pressure.
What are some of the other, besides having money, what are some of the other expectations that are required of South African men?
Well, you need to obviously look good, be in shape, be tall, dark, handsome, that type of criteria. But then for the most part, stability. They're looking for stability, and with the country that we're in, it's hard to be stable because of, like I mentioned, the economy is rather, and not a lot of men have jobs, So with that being said, that they have these expectations, where they want the guy who looks good, dresses good, has a car, has a house, the list goes on and on and on. And the men decided like, I might fill in a few checkpoints here and there, but for the rest, I'm out of the race.
So, I've been to, Sandton, Midrand, places like that, where it's more affluent. But I know that a lot of Johannesburg is not as affluent as those places. And with all the expectations, which sounds like the same expectations we have in the Black American community, my question is to you: what is it that South African women are? What are they supposed to do for you? We understand what you have to do, but what is their expectations that they need to do for a man, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, South Africa, for the most part, is, as much as we try to be woke, it's still highly conservative. We still have some traditional aspects. So as Black men, we want to have a traditional woman, a woman who be able to cook, clean, be able to raise a child or children, build a family with, have someone to build a family with or build a life with. So when we ask for those things, we're getting a whole lot of, why do you want a slave? Why do you want, we don't want that. Women don't, they go off. They go crazy, because they also, if you guys want this, then you might as well go look somewhere else. It's like wanting a dream girl, someone within our dreams. And it's sad, but it's the reality.
So you hit on the point. Let me make sure I understand this correctly. They want you as South African men to be providers, tall, in shape, have cars, have big money. But they don't want to be housewives, cook, clean. They're saying you're looking for a slave. Although they want you to be the slave and buy them everything. And it seems like they don't want to give you nothing from what you're telling me. Not all women, but obviously many of them that you've encountering.
Yes.
So is it that they
not,
just...
Not all of them, but...
Not all of them. So do you feel like all that they need to do is just have sex and that's good enough for the man? Is that all that they feel like they need to do?
Yes, I feel that personally, that's what they are offering for the most part. That yes, I'm bringing the cookie, I'm bringing myself, and that's the best. You should be appreciative of that, as a Black woman or whatever. You should be happy that this is what you're getting. And at times, it's not enough. It's not enough because, yes, you can have this person who looks amazing, big ass, amazing body, but then the attitude is something else. It's like, ma'am, why are you so entitled? You're asking for girlfriend allowance. You're asking for 1, 2, 3, and what do I get in return? What do I get in return? So there's an imbalance that's happening, and living in this culture where we're trying to be woke, like I say, we're trying to be woke, where we looking at Western media, like Western media, and seeing how the Western world is. South African women want that lifestyle. Or you see something on TV and they're like, you know what, I like that, I want that, and us here, we are like, we cannot give you that necessarily. Yes, you might look at shows like The Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever, and see the women looking all nice, with the weaves and whatnot. And, because they have these men who are able to give them this money and do all that, we still have to base ourselves in reality. South African men cannot be at that level. Still have to, come down to our level. And they don't want to be on our level. They're like, nah, we here and you guys
are down there.
Men are here. And they want us to be here. And it's an imbalance.
So let me, because I've been, like I said, I love Joburg. I spend a lot of rands when I love Johannesburg. I love Joburg. It is, if I didn't have my stuff in Kampala, I might be back there. But you sent me a very well thought out email, and one of the things is that you put, because I asked you, what are some of the issues going on here, and one of the things you documented, comparison with men from other races. So this is what I've noticed. Now, I don't know if you were alive. I remember when apartheid happened in South Africa. I was only 9 or 10, but our Black community in America was rooting for the ANC at that particular time. And I believe it was de Klerk at that time that was stepping away from power as it was transitioned to, Nelson Mandela. At first they were sharing it, then they fully transitioned to him. And then the Boers were not running the government, but they still have all the businesses, which I still notice till this day. When I go to Airbnb, I always encounter, I never have rented an Airbnb, and it's always a white person or an Indian. But what I do notice is I do see a fair share of interracial relationships happening with white men. I don't know if they're Boers, but I probably could assume that that's probably who it is. And South African women. So I want to know that the expectations that they would have for you that are so high, do they have those same expectations for white men? In other words, can a white guy just show up and be white and get better treatment from you than you, Like, do they expect him to do the same things that they expect you to do?
Well, to some degree, the white men are held at a higher pedestal than black men, right?
Okay.
Because they have the financial power. They have,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a whole lot of stuff that it's called, the have and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us this side we don't have those things, So when a white man comes through, regardless of the social standing,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a person who comes from a poor background, but for the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he is white,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, be treated better. However, I will point
Mm-hmm.
out since that not a lot of black women would treat white men to that level because of there's still racism. There is
Mm-hmm.
still racism. White people are still, yeah, they're still hating, and it's not just only the Boers. We have like different white people. We have the English. We have people from different parts of Europe. The Portuguese. Italians and whatnot. So white men who are from those countries who come this side, they're able to pull in more beautiful, exotic, because they see African women as exotic, as
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
chocolate beauty, like this is amazing, So they're able to pull in these women easily. Whereas this side, they used to us, they used to us, the locals. So they're like, what will he do for me? I know he's just a bum. He's just walking on this. He's a Johnny Walker, right? Walking on the street. He doesn't have a car. However, white daddy over here has an apartment in Santon, drives a Porsche or a Lamborghini, has all this money. He's able to give me a bank card to spend and do all these things. And then once the competition becomes tough and then they have to transition back to black men, they come with the expectation like, nah, you gotta do what my white daddy was doing. And it's hard. It's hard to compete with that type of financial power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you this: for a person,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen this in Uganda. I don't know about South Africa, but I've known cases where a
Yes.
white guy could just be white and doesn't have anything, just the fact that he's white. And then you're black. I've even there's a restaurant that's called the Godfather. It's inside what's the name of this hotel? But it's in Santon. And I was there, and it's called it's on Morningside, right? It's Santon Sky. I don't know if you ever heard of that place before. It's a popular place in Santon. I was standing in line.
Yeah.
A young lady,
I will,
white couple came behind me, and she took them before she took me. I was standing right there. I'm pretty sure I have more money than they did. Okay, so what I want to ask you is this: do you feel that if a white guy didn't have any money and you didn't have any money, that white guy would end up getting a better attractive woman than you? Same look, same everything, all equal,
well,
on general.
for sure. I mean, the treatment is different. They, like I said, they are treated at like they put on a pedestal to an extent. Like you say with your experience where you're in a line and the lady decided instead of helping you, they decided to help the white person. Situations like that happen. For us, this side, to some degree, it's a norm. It's frustrating. It is frustrating, but it's a norm where we have our own people treating white people better than our own people, and it becomes that thing whereby you want to voice out and get angry and say like, what the hell, why are you doing this? But then you sort of come down and understand that, there's a lot of social factors as to why these things are happening. You know, so to answer your question properly, yes, a guy, if me and a white guy who's on the same level, he'll be able to pull in a way attractive black woman. Unlike me, I have to bring in more. I have to actually put in the work. I have to come in with my cash. I have to come in with a car or something. I have to literally come in with something that shows that I have value.
Let me talk about something that might be a little different than our community, because South Africa has many different tribes and languages. You have Zulu and I don't know if it's Xhosa. How do you say it? Xhosa. We pronounce it Xhosa. I don't know how you say it, but I tried to figure it out. But the many different tribes and regions, and some of them are mixed, obviously, because of intercultural relationships. In our community, we are all the same people because we're one big tribe. So we don't really have what tribalism is, but how does tribalism affect relationships and entitlement? Because that's something that we don't deal with. But how does that affect the relationship situation with South African women?
Well, when it comes down to tribalism, like you stated, there's 11 official languages in South Africa, right? So meaning that to some degree there are 11 tribes. However, there's more than that. So with having different tribes, there comes tribalism, where one tribe thinks that they're better than the other. So when it comes to relationships, you could date, let's say, for example, I could date a lady who's Sutu, from the Sutu area, who's Sutu, right? And she might have an expectation because I am Tsonga, right? And there's a misconception that Tsonga men or men from Limpopo, that it's a province, I shall assume in American it's states, it's called a state, but this side it's a province. Limpopo men are a hung. They have, they known as, having that strong, right? So when it comes to dating, there's that conception that, okay, if you're from this, from this tribe, meaning you should have a big dick, right? And at times it's not like that. It's not like that. Or you could have someone who's Zulu, right? And there's a misconception that Zulu men are very aggressive. They're very stubborn. And when you sit down and talk to them, it's a different story. So there are exceptions that are being thrown out with different tribes, and it makes navigating dating difficult at times when it comes down to culture, especially when marriage comes into place. Because different cultures have different rules, and with those rules, you have to either compromise, or if not compromise, you have to completely let go of certain traditions because of the stereotypes that are there. So dating, it can be difficult to navigate with certain cultures. Not all women from different cultures would think the same, but there are misconceptions.
So you having to overcome stereotypes a lot. Okay. Well, let me talk about this because one of the things that now I know that American media is very popular. I know DSTV is from South Africa, so you guys see a lot of our shows and a lot of our music. By the way, I love Piano. It's my stuff, man. I really dig South African house and Piano. One of my DJ Marafosa. I watch some of his stuff too. But I know that. A lot of stuff is catered towards women, and you made a point in your email, and also Romeo Makota. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like one of my favorite DJs too. But I know also that in America, there's not a lot of media for men, and this whole manosphere thing, especially for black men, is kind of burgeoning, and everything is kind of catered towards women. And what I'm noticing that in Africa, there is nothing like this for men at all. Like nothing like the red pill, nothing like anything for dating for men. It like doesn't even exist. Am I wrong when I say that, or is it true?
You aren't wrong. I would say that only those who are privileged to have like phones and access to the internet, let me put it like that. Those who are privileged to have access to the internet will understand, red pill, the manosphere, stuff like that. But for those who don't have uh, uh, um, the access to internet or access to information rather, they 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 are left behind to a certain degree, because yes, our media this side for the most part caters for women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes, we do have certain platforms that touch on issues that men face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, there's a show called Ask a Man,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a radio show where people go on there, and even though yes, it's called Ask a Man, there are also female callers or whatever who go on and talk about their problems. But then for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, men have to go over there and voice out their concerns, and the guys, the hosts who are on the show, right? It's two guys and a woman. So
Mm-hmm.
they are the ones who are giving out advice, the best way they can, even though I have some hang-ups about that, but that's
Mm-hmm.
a story for another day.
So two guys and a girl ask a man, but if it's ask a woman, it will never be two women and a guy. It'll be all women.
Hey,
Notice that?
it's coming from you, not me, but you're right.
So yeah. So whenever it's anything to do with women, there's never guys involved in that. But if it's an ask a man, they're always, well, why can't a woman be involved? Always the case. They will never want to give black men their own spaces. But anyways,
Not at
brother,
all. Not
go
at
ahead.
all. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was, I was just gonna touch upon the whole media. For example, there's, like you pointed out, there's DSTV, right, which has a
Mm-hmm.
variety of channels, and there's one specific channel which I stated on the email I had sent, uh, which touches upon black issues,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one particular show, I'm kind of keeping my eye on that show. It's a show where these thicker women like BBW, big beautiful women, go on the show, to talk about body positivity and whatnot. With that show, it's only women who are there. We don't see big guys, you don't see fat men on the show. It's not equally balanced. If we're gonna talk about body positivity, it should be on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
If women want to be, body positive, let's also look at the men. But however, no, 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 no. You're not gonna do that here. You're not gonna do that. Let's focus on one side.
Mm-hmm. So you guys are seeing the same thing that we're seeing, which is amazing, brother. You've given us a really good insight into how even though we're very different, we seem to be going through the same thing. What do you think that the manosphere getting into South Africa? What sort of issues can that solve for black men facing the issues that obviously you've seen the emergence of Kevin Samuels and guys like that to come out of our community. What community could that bring for men in South Africa having their own version of the African American version of the Black Manosphere?
Well, for the most part, it will help brothers to wake up, and understand female nature, understand how things I won't say things are working against them, but then they need to figure out a way to navigate, the modern world. Even though, like I said, South Africa is to some degree very traditional. And a lot of men this side are black men are traditional, and yet we are being told, or we are being told that we must be modern, must transition into this modern man. And with with transitioning to being a modern man, it comes with a lot of expectations that are unrealistic to us, right? So what the Menosphere this side will help would help teach a lot of black brothers, to look out for, negative aspects of certain things within dating, within finances, within social standings. There's a lot of things that could be touched upon that would help my fellow black brothers out there.
Okay. Well, brother, we'll definitely bring you back. We're going to see. We're going to try to give our assistance in helping the brothers out in the South African community. I know many of you guys follow us already, so I get super chats all the time in South African ranches there. So a lot of you brothers are already. My fourth biggest market is South Africa, outside of the U.S., the UK, and Canada. So South Africa is number 4. So we already have a lot of guys that watch. So I got a lot of subscribers from South Africa. And guys, if you're interested, if you're from South Africa and building this community, I will definitely put you in contact with our brother here, and let's make it happen. And I'll be working with him to try to help. Let's see this expand. As we can see this happen, it'll be very, very great. Any last words, brother?
Well, for the most part, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, to voice out some concerns, even though it might have not been 100% concise. I wish I was given more time to really break down certain things, but hopefully with the building of the Menosphere this side, or the growing of the Menosphere this side, I'll be able to touch upon that. But for the most part, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk, and give a voice to South African brothers this side, or being one of the voices of the South African brothers this side.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, guys, thank you so much. Hopefully, we get the brother on YouTube and give him a boost. And guys, thank you so much. Let us know what you think in the comment section. And as you guys know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. We're out.